What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Rewire. I'm Chris, and I wanted to talk about unconsciously running towards danger because I was just watching this live stream on Facebook, and this guy had some pretty decent topics and some decent guests and stuff, but he was talking to his guest about how he has mentally trained himself to protect his wife, right? And what he was talking about was, one night the alarm went off in their house and he just immediately got up and walked towards that danger. There was no conscious effort. He didn't have to sum up some courage or anything like that, and he went straight towards it. And he talks about, luckily in this instance, nobody broke in. It was just like the wind that triggered the alarm. But I just want to talk to you all right now because this is an example of what, in my opinion, is poor mental training, because that is 1000% the wrong way to look at this situation. So I'll give you some examples real quick. I've never personally worked in retail, but I have a friend who worked in retail, and he was talking about his training, and he was like, yeah, one thing they trained us on is if somebody steals something, you let them go and you let security take care of it and, whatever, right? And I was like, I guess that makes sense, right? Well, what happened in my personal experience, I was at a gas station. It was like 2 a.m. grabbing a drink or something. And these teenagers pulled into the parking spot right up front, backed in, left the car running. One guy was in the front seat. I was like, oh, this is probably going to be a beer run, right? And lo and behold, I sat in my truck just to see what was going to happen. And these two kids come booking out with a bunch of beer. And the dude from behind the counter comes chasing after him, and he tries to stop him, and he literally crawls into the driver's side front window to try to stop these kids, and they start pulling off. And one of the driver put a cigarette out in his face, and they keep driving, and I had to go and I had to pull the guy off, right, to save him. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, if this guy got severely injured, or he, God forbid, died, like, would his family say, this courageous man went and gave his life for the job that he loves and trying to protect the beer that these teenagers stole? Like, absolutely not. His family would be devastated. And if this guy was severely injured and lying in the hospital bed, he would be sitting there like, why was I risking my life for some beer? That's not even mine, right? Just a couple weeks ago, I was watching a news story about at Home Depot or something, a guy stole like a $100 or $200 toolbox, and one of the employees chases him out of the store to try to stop him. And he chases him into the parking lot. And when he chases him into the parking lot, he gets smacked by a van. And he survived, but he's in the hospital over a $200 toolbox. And I'm sitting there, I'm just like, wow, like, this is why I practice mindfulness, so I can consciously make decisions in these moments. So just to elaborate on what mindfulness awareness does and how we train our brain, is it helps us focus in that moment. So some of you might be familiar with the zone in sports, right? What they refer to it in mindfulness is called the flow. But the zone, when you hear athletes talk about the zone, they were just 1000% focused, but they weren't making all these conscious decisions, right? And it's because they have trained themselves to be mentally prepared for that moment, okay? And if you hear athletes describe this, they talk about time slowing down and they're able to make these split-second decisions. There was one baseball great who actually talked about when he was in the zone, a 100-mile-an-hour fastball could be coming at him, but he can literally see the stitches in that ball and line up his aim. And that's what we're working towards. And a very real situation that this is useful for is in the military. They're starting to train our armed forces in mindfulness so they can make better decisions in combat. Like, think about it. I've never been to war, but wouldn't you rather, in these life or death situations, have somebody who can make these smart, strategical, split-second decisions rather than the guy who sees danger and just immediately runs towards it? I was listening to a podcast about this military school where they teach mindfulness, and somebody asked one of the instructors, like, do you ever feel bad that you're training these men and women to potentially kill babies? And what she said was, no, I'm training them how to not kill babies. And that's an exact like, perfect point. Wouldn't you rather somebody who was taking their time and immediately aiming at the target rather than someone who's out there with an automatic weapon just spraying at everything that moves? So what I'm trying to say is this is just yet another example of why we all need to practice mindfulness, so we're not training our mind to needlessly run into a situation that might put ourselves, the people around us, or our family or our children in danger. There's a right way to train our minds and a wrong way. All right, but if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button and share it, and I'll see you next time.